I'm sitting at my desk at my medical sales job, and my manager's telling me that I can take 12 days off this year, only 12 out of 365 days, and something just breaks in me. I'm in my 20s, and someone else gets to decide how many days of my own life I'm allowed to live. I look around the office, and everybody just kind of seems fine with it, like this is just what life is. And at the moment, all I wanted to do was quit, but I couldn't. Because the thing that drove me to get there is what locked me inside the job. It's funny because the drive to never be powerless again had actually made me completely powerless. I had my dream job, I was making 6 figures a year, and I was the most miserable I'd ever been in my life. A lot of things needed to happen for me to quit. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through it. How I went from an anxious girl who wanted to prove she was enough to the corporate employee who felt trapped in her dream job. And how one single call changed my whole perspective to start building a life that's actually mine. But to understand why I ended up feeling so trapped in a corporate job, I need you to know why I even wanted this job in the first place. So I grew up in a small town with my brother, my sister, and both my parents. For the most part, I had a normal childhood, but school was a completely different story. I got bullied like really bad. Kids literally ran away from me. I'd walk into a room, they'd leave. I'd go out to recess and they would all play a game called Run Away from Kylie. I'd sit down at a table, everyone would just get up. I eventually started eating my lunch either in the bathroom, as cliche as that sounds, or I would go help the librarian restack books. I joke now that I have a hot girl body with a fat kid personality, but back then there was nothing funny about it. But I still had my family, and for a long time that was enough. So whatever happened at school, at least I could come home and feel safe. Then 2008 happened. Like a lot of families, my parents went bankrupt and my parents lost their car dealership. At the time, I had no idea that those fun trips to Costco for a $1.62 Polish dog were actually because that's all that they could afford. As I got older, stuff started making sense. The signs on the door about the mortgage, my parents fighting about needing food stamps, and my dad never really being home because he was killing himself trying to keep us afloat. My parents gave up their pride, their comfort, and everything else just so that we could keep having a normal life. So now I'm a kid whose school feels hostile and whose home feels unstable. And when you're living like that, you grab onto the one thing that you can control. And for me, that was my grades. I couldn't make kids like me or make my family money, but I could get an A. And nobody could take that away from me. So I became obsessed about it. I didn't go out with friends, and instead I focused on getting straight A's. I literally remember one time I even cried when I got an A-. When it came to graduating high school and deciding on what to do next, I went back to my experience in 3rd grade. I got super sick. I remember it was around like February because I got out on Valentine's Day, and I was in the hospital for a week fighting for my life and almost died. I had horrible pneumonia. The doctors were incredible and literally saved me. If I had not gone in that night, the doctors told my mom that I would have not woken up in the morning. That experience really stuck with me. So when I became this obsessed overachiever, I had a clear target, helping people the way that those doctors helped me. With all that drive, I had one goal: become a trauma surgeon. As I got older, all that bullying had done a lot more damage than I had realized. I developed a intense anxiety around tests because I just thought I wasn't good enough. I'd spend days and weeks and hours studying, and I still felt like I'm not prepared enough. But if I wanted to be a surgeon, I had to take the MCAT, and that exam ultimately would decide everything as a medical student. The thought of spending years studying just to fail an exam really terrified me. So I gave up on that dream, moved to Florida, and I ended up serving at a restaurant while I kind of figured things out, thinking I'd go back to school. But what was supposed to be a temporary job turned into years because the money was good. And for me, money never meant ending up like my parents did. Then one night, a group of customers came in. They turned out to work for a medical sales company. After speaking with them some time, they came back the next day as well. They had offered me a job in medical sales. I immediately said yes. It was perfect for multiple reasons. One, the money was so great that it made me feel like I would never have to worry about going broke. And two, it was medical sales. I was back in a world where I'd always wanted to be, maybe not as a surgeon, but I'd still get to be in medicine. So I felt like it was getting me back on track. And the third reason is I didn't have to pass the MCAT to help people. I didn't have to spend another decade in school or operate on anyone. I could have the money, the medical industry, help people without having to face the thing that scared me the most. It was literally everything I wanted wrapped into one job. Or at least that's what I thought. Because look, here's the thing, like in the server world, you can swap shifts if you want. You can go on a random trip on a Tuesday. You can find someone to cover for you. But in a corporate job, flexibility just doesn't really exist. You can't just trade a shift. You only get a certain number of days off each year. My income and my freedom were limited. And every single day I was putting all of my energy into building someone else's dream while my own dreams collected dust. I look back at my life and I felt like I was always just wearing these golden handcuffs. First was the serving job, which was enough to keep me stuck for years. Now I'm a year deep in this medical sales job that paid well enough to make quitting feel insane. And each paycheck was just another lock on the handcuffs. I mean, over time, you just kind of give up. I was convinced that this is just what adult life is like. Just wanting more is selfish or unrealistic or even ungrateful. I was already making good money in a respectable job. I had everything I wanted. Again, I was the most miserable I'd ever been. I wanted real control over my time, real control of my income, and real control over my decisions. I just had no idea how to get there. My whole life changed because of one call. In 2022, I met my boyfriend, JP. He was 25, working from home, doing his own thing, making some serious money. He helped local businesses like gyms and med spas get more clients using AI. And I'm not gonna lie, that kind of caught my attention, but what actually changed me was the moment that I'll never forget. And that was when I was sitting on JP's couch, literally buried in medical sales paperwork. It was horrible. I had a ton of spine stimulators I needed to get out to patients, and I had to drive to these people's houses hours away. In the other room, I could hear him on a sales call. I was curious, so I kind of sat behind the door and just listened. He was talking to a couple who was about to lose way more than their business. They were about to lose everything that they had spent their entire lives building. And JP wasn't just offering some service, he was genuinely helping save their business. And he was helping people solve a problem. And when that hit me, everything shifted. Because I was literally looking at two versions of what my life could be. On one side, I had a stack of corporate paperwork where I had limited income, freedom, where I had to spend years building someone else's dream. And on the other hand, I had JP on that call, helping people save the work of their lives and having an impact on them. And most importantly, freedom. I saw two futures right in front of me, and honestly, it didn't take me long to know which one I wanted. Before that moment, I had honestly thought that making money online was a scam, like some get rich quick, sell some hair product, trick people into buying stuff they didn't need. But hearing how JP genuinely helped someone keep their work alive, I realized I was completely wrong. This was real work that actually mattered. And at that moment, he was building something that nobody could ever take away from him. I knew right away I wanted to be his partner in crime and help him grow his business to impact more people. So I did the thing that literally everyone in my life thought was insane. I quit my full-time medical sales job without any experience in online business or AI. I just went all in. But it wasn't some overnight success story. It was really messy. When I came in, I started with small things to help JP, and I was learning automation tools from scratch. 6 months before that, I didn't even know what an automation was, but I was literally figuring this all out from zero, breaking things, fixing them, breaking them again. And because I'm a perfectionist, I made every mistake you can make. I spent way too much time trying to build the perfect system instead of just trying to get something that worked. And I got distracted by stuff that felt productive but wasn't actually doing anything. As I kept going and kept messing up, something clicked. That perfectionist brain that had been holding me back my entire life actually started working for me. But instead of obsessing over grades or about somebody else's dream, I was putting all that energy into helping JP grow his agency. And as I got better, I took on bigger stuff, like rebuilding his entire backend system, building out full automation tools for real businesses so that JP could focus on getting more clients. And here's the thing, JP is incredible at sales, but when I came in, I brought a different brain to the business. JP is great at getting the clients, but I'm the perfectionist systems person. I'm the one who obsesses over making automations work, over improving them, and over making sure our system can scale. I went from helping JP with small things to building an agency with him where we each had our own side, and we became partners in crime and in business. Now, was it scary? Yeah, the early months were terrifying. I didn't know what I was doing, and I had to learn how to build with someone else. I had spent my whole life trying to prove I could do everything alone, and it was way harder than it sounds. Here's what I know now that I didn't know in that corporate office. The discomfort of building something new goes away, but the discomfort of staying in the wrong life doesn't. Now, I wake up every morning and I get to build this with someone that I love, and I get to design our life around what actually matters to us. I can take a trip without filling out a PTO form 3 weeks early. I can have a slow morning. I can not work for the day if I don't feel like it. I can work from wherever I want on whatever I decide matters. And when I look at my bank account, that number is based on the value that I created, not from what someone else decided I'm worth. And honestly, it's not even the big stuff. It's the little things like taking a call from my mom without checking if my manager's watching, or saying, let's go somewhere next week, and just going. That might sound small, but you've ever sat at a desk watching that clock hit 5, knowing you have to do the exact thing for the next 30 years? You would know small things are actually everything. And that's what freedom actually looks like to me. So if you're watching this and you feel stuck in a job, a career, or life that doesn't match who you thought you'd be, hear me out. Stop waiting until you feel ready, because I wasn't ready, but if I waited until I felt ready, I'd still be sitting at the office wondering what could have been. Because confidence doesn't come before you do the thing, it comes after. You take action first and then you get confident. And you don't have to learn everything at once. Just pick one skill that actually pays, like sales, marketing, AI automation, and stick with it. Whatever you do, stop hiding behind learning. You can watch AI videos on YouTube all day and still make $0. Money comes from solving a real problem for real people and doing it consistently. But the best piece of advice I can give you is that consistency compounds. Small wins every day will always beat going hard for 1 week and then burning out. So take the staircase, not the cliff. The destination will still be the same at the top, but the experience will be way different. Trust me, I know. So if you're tired of building someone else's dream on someone else's schedule, and you know deep down that you're capable of more, welcome. I'm Kylie. This channel is where I'm going to give you everything I've got, the exact steps, the real lessons, and the stuff that actually works to help you build an AI business, replace your job, and give you back your freedom. So please subscribe, because in the next video, I'm going to break down exactly how to start a one-person AI business from scratch, even if you have zero experience. I hope to see you there.